This is the War Room, a tool built to run a real edge through an NFL Survivor contest. Everything here is built to squeeze every bit of probability out of however many entries you're running. Let me walk through what's actually inside. This is Command Central. Up top, you set the current contest week. That one cell drives almost everything else in the workbook, so it's the first thing to touch every week. Below that, how many entries are still alive, how many are dead, total money invested, and a live chart tracking your entries week over week. Every win probability in this workbook traces back to this one tab. It starts from real market win totals for all 32 teams, not guesses. But the real trick is over here, the live adjusted rating column. As actual games get played, this blends the preseason number with each team's real record, leaning harder on actual performance the more games go by. So a team that was projected for 5 wins but starts 4-0 gets rated like a good team almost immediately, and that update flows through the entire model automatically. Nothing else needs to be touched. This is the engine room. Every game of the season mapped to the contest's actual week structure, each one with a calculated win probability. You'll rarely need to sit here, it just feeds everything downstream. One of the most useful tabs here. Every team, every week, color-coded green to red by win probability, and the opponent's right there in the cell with it. The real value is these 2 columns on the right, best future value and a use now edge. That tells you, before burning a good team, whether this is actually their best matchup of the season or whether you're wasting them. Save them for a bigger spot later. This one's different. It's not about your picks. It's modeling what the rest of the field is doing, your competition. Most contests don't publish real pick data, so this runs on a behavioral model. It assumes the public piles on to whoever's the biggest favorite each week, tunable with a chalk concentration dial. It projects how big the surviving field probably still is by any given week, and roughly how many other entries you'd be splitting the pot with if you win with a given team. Useful once it's not just about surviving anymore, it's about not splitting the prize pool 15 ways. Here's the strategy core. Instead of betting everything on one plan, this runs 10 different full season paths, literally solved with an optimization algorithm to maximize the odds that at least one of them survives the whole way. Path 1 is the pure best case plan. The other 9 deliberately spread onto different teams so one bad week doesn't wipe out the whole army at once. And this part updates live. If a team a path is counting on later in the season gets hurt or starts playing badly, it flags it right here and shows what's actually the better option now, based on current ratings. No plan stays locked to whatever looked good back in August. This tab exists because a lot of Survivor contests have some kind of odd exception week baked into their rules, a holiday slate or Thanksgiving week as its own week. Miss that rule, and you can get eliminated on a technicality even while playing well. This tab tracks exactly how many eligible teams each entry still has in reserve for that exception week, so it never happens by accident. This is where the real entries live. Name them, tag each one to whichever path it's following, and mark it active. Only active entries count toward anything else in this workbook, so it scales cleanly whether you're running 3 entries or 30. Pickboard is where the actual picks get typed in week to week. Everything else, status tracking, the exception week guard, the live suggestions, all of it reads off what's really sitting in this tab, not some theoretical plan. And this is the actual weekly routine. Every team ranked by win probability for the current week, how many entries have already used each one, and a suggested split of how to spread live entries across the best options, so one upset can't take out more of the army than it has to. That's the whole system. However many weeks the season runs, however many entries you're carrying, this is as much of an edge as a spreadsheet can give you against pure variance. And it's not locked to one specific contest. Pricing, prize pool, entry count, all of it's editable, so it works for whatever Survivor league you're actually in. If there's something you'd want added, a feature, a tweak, anything, my email and YouTube are both on the first tab, under About the Creator. If this is something you're interested in, I'll leave a link in the description so you know where to find me and support my models. Also, if you have anything you want added, feel free to reach out. Again, I'll leave my info in the description. One last thing before you go. This is a decision support tool. It's built to help you make better informed picks using real data and probability, nothing more. It doesn't guarantee a win, and no spreadsheet can eliminate the risk of an upset. Survivor contests, like all forms of sports betting, involve real financial risk, and past performance or projected probabilities are never a promise of future results. If you choose to play, only enter with money you can afford to lose, and gamble responsibly. If gambling ever stops being fun or starts feeling like a problem, please reach out to the National Council on Problem Gambling at 1-800-522-47000.